The sky above Earth was no longer blue. Instead, it was the color of fire, a chaotic, streaked canvas marred by the lights of war. Jarek stood at the helm of the last remaining human defense fleet, his face illuminated by the glow of the monitors, each one flashing with real-time data of a dying planet. The Earth he once fought for, the Earth that had birthed him, was now reduced to a battlefield, a crumbling husk slowly suffocating beneath the weight of alien invasion. "Sir?" came the voice of Sergeant Reese, sharp and tense. "The fleet's been compromised. We're outgunned and outnumbered. They're targeting the power core. If it goes, we lose everything." Jarek's fingers gripped the console, his mind calculating, thinking faster than the panic that threatened to surge. "Redirect all remaining shields to the core's outer defenses," he ordered, his voice low but authoritative. "Prepare for immediate evasive maneuvers. We're not losing this ship, not today." Reese didn't hesitate. "Aye, Captain." The ship shuddered under the impact of another barrage. The station's lights flickered, casting brief shadows across Jarek's battle-hardened face. The roar of the battle echoed through the walls, but Jarek's focus remained absolute. His eyes never left the horizon, where alien ships, sleek, monstrous, and deadly, carved through the stars like predators hunting their prey. He thought of Earth's fall. Once a thriving world, now reduced to a scarred memory. His memories of peaceful days before the war felt like a lifetime ago. A quiet smile briefly tugged at his lips. The laughter of his daughter, the warmth of his home, all buried beneath the weight of war. Now, all that remained was duty. And vengeance. "Incoming!" Reese shouted, breaking Jarek from his thoughts. The ship jolted as a wave of alien fire smashed into their defenses. Red lights flashed, and alarms blared, but Jarek remained still, calm, unyielding. "Hold steady!" Jarek barked. "We're not dying today." He watched as the crew scrambled, eyes wide with fear, but Jarek's confidence anchored them. They weren't soldiers because they wanted to be. They were soldiers because they had no choice. Earth had lost its freedom, its sovereignty, but it had not lost its fight. "We've got one shot," Reese said, his voice tight with urgency. "If we don't disable that dreadnought's weapons array now, we're toast." Jarek turned his gaze toward the coordinates Reese indicated. A massive alien ship, the size of a city, loomed in the distance. Its guns were charged and ready to wipe them out. Without it, humanity stood a chance. With it, Earth was doomed. "Deploy all remaining fighters. We'll take down that beast or die trying," Jarek commanded, his voice cold steel. "I won't let Earth burn today." The fleet split into two groups, each taking a different approach. Jarek's command ship, the Fury, led the charge, heading straight toward the dreadnought's front lines. His mind ran through every maneuver, every calculation. This was it. The moment they either won or died in the attempt. There was no middle ground. The fighter wings launched, a flurry of metal cutting through space like a swarm of bees defending their hive. Jarek's eyes remained locked on the enemy, his instincts screaming, guiding him like an unshakable force. His crew moved in perfect unison, every action honed by years of war. Suddenly, the dreadnought's massive guns fired, and the shockwave reverberated through space. The ship groaned as another hit slammed against the shield generators. Sparks shot from the consoles, and the hull began to creak under pressure. "Shields at 50%! Reese shouted, panic creeping into his voice. "We need more time!" But time was something they didn't have. Jarek gritted his teeth. He had promised his crew he would get them out of this. He intended to keep that promise. His hand slammed down on the comms panel. "This is Captain Jarek. I'm taking command of the fighters. You hold this ship." Before Reese could protest, Jarek was already moving, his boots pounding across the deck as he made his way to the fighter bay. The fighter bay doors opened, and Jarek stepped into his fighter, the sleek Tempest, feeling the familiar hum of the cockpit as it powered up. His crew, his allies, followed suit, mounting their own ships. The Tempest roared to life, and Jarek shot out of the bay, leading the charge into the heart of the alien fleet. The battlefield was a ballet of destruction. Explosions rippled across the blackness, each one punctuated by the shrill scream of fighter engines and the hum of enemy fire. Jarek's focus narrowed, his hands steady on the controls as he dove, twisted, and turned his fighter through a maze of destruction. He wasn't fighting for himself. He wasn't even fighting for Earth, not in the way people thought. He was fighting for revenge. Locking onto target, Jarek muttered as the targeting system blinked green. Firing. He released the trigger. The missiles shot forward, streaking through space like guided death. The alien dreadnought's weapons array erupted into a series of fiery explosions. For a moment, Jarek allowed himself a moment of satisfaction, but he knew better than to celebrate too soon. The enemy would adapt. They always did. Take down the bombers! Jarek ordered through the comms, watching as alien ships, smaller but just as deadly, attempted to break through their defenses. The Tempest swerved, dodging another burst of enemy fire before returning it with ruthless precision. We've got them on the ropes, Reese said over the comm. But not for long. The dreadnought was not finished. The alien ship's massive guns swung toward Jarek's ship, and a fresh barrage of fire rained down. The Tempest shook violently as the shields faltered. Jarek gritted his teeth. He would not go down without a fight. But then, in the midst of the chaos, the unexpected happened. Captain, we have a breach in the core! Reese's voice came through frantic, but steady. The power core is going critical. We're out of time. Jarek's blood ran cold. Abort all missions. All ships, return to the Fury now. He barked, even as he veered sharply, heading for the station. It was a final, desperate move, a suicide mission to save the very thing that had brought them here. He didn't hesitate. The mission, now a matter of life and death, would either seal humanity's fate or give them a fighting chance. But as the alien dreadnought's shadow loomed over them, the true test of their survival had just begun. And Jarek knew, whatever happened next, he would make them pay. The Tempest screamed through the void, streaking across the debris-strewn battlefield like a needle through a torn fabric. Jarek's hands gripped the controls as the starship's hull shuddered with every tremor from the dying explosions around them. The core breach was imminent, and the countdown was unforgiving. His crew, those who survived the initial assault, were fighting tooth and nail to hold the line. But the truth weighed on Jarek's chest. The human resistance was teetering on the edge of extinction. We've got 30 minutes before the core detonates, Captain. Reese's voice crackled through his headset, tight with urgency. We either stop the breach, or we lose the Fury, and everyone on board. Jarek's eyes darted over the tactical map projected on the cockpit's console. The Fury was still intact, but the alien forces were regrouping, far too organized for his liking. Their weapons were recharged, their numbers swelling by the minute. We don't have 30 minutes, Jarek muttered, his voice barely a whisper over the chaos. We have 10. The aliens' reinforcements are too close. We hit them now, or we'll never get the chance. He punched the controls, sending the fighter into a sharp dive toward the nearest enemy ship, a heavily shielded command cruiser. It was a calculated risk. If he could disable it, it would buy them precious time to focus on the real threat, the alien Overlords' flagship, the Nemesis, a terrifying vessel unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. We need more time to get to the core, Reese said. I don't think you understand. I understand. I'm giving you time. Jarek snapped, teeth gritted. But I won't sit here and wait for our death sentence. With a swift motion, he deployed all remaining missiles, a desperate flurry of deadly precision aimed directly at the cruiser's weak points. His fighter rocked under the force of its own weapons as the alien ship erupted in a fireball, taking several smaller vessels with it. But Jarek knew this would not end the war. Not yet. Damage report? Jarek's voice cut through the smoke-filled cockpit, but he didn't need to ask. He could feel the strain on his ship's engines, the weakness in its frame. Structural integrity holding, but shields are down to 20%. Reese replied, his voice calm but tense. If we take another hit like that, we'll lose all power. Jarek didn't need to be told twice. He gunned the Tempest forward, dodging alien fire that zipped past him like lightning. His fighter danced among the chaos, his every move calculated with precision. But he was only one man, one ship. The galaxy was a vast and unforgiving place, and it felt as though humanity's last chance for survival was slipping further and further away with every moment. Then it happened. A voice, cool and measured, reverberated through the comm system, cutting through the noise. "Captain Jarek," it said. "It's been a long time." Jarek's heart skipped a beat. He recognized that voice. "Zarek," he growled, his pulse quickening. The alien overlord, the very being who had destroyed everything he loved, was here, right in front of him. The monster who had crushed Earth under its iron boot. The predator that had reduced his people to mere playthings. "Still so angry, human?" Zarek's voice was like ice, calm yet venomous. "It is pitiful. But I can see your desperation. It suits you. You think you stand a chance against me?" Jarek's hands clenched around the controls, his jaw tight with fury. "You destroyed everything," he spat, his voice low and dangerous. "You took my family. My home. But you won't take us. Not now. Not ever." Zarek's laughter came through the comms, an eerie, chilling sound. "You are brave, Jarek. But bravery will not save you. Your people are insects beneath my feet. You were never meant to stand against me. You've underestimated us before." Jarek shot back, his eyes narrowing. "And you'll make the same mistake again." The Nemesis loomed ahead of them now, a vast, menacing ship with jagged edges like the maw of some ancient, hungry beast. Its weapons charged, ready to unleash hell. Jarek's gut twisted as he realized just how close they were to the breaking point. He had to do something, now. "Prepare to engage," Jarek muttered, already lining up his ship for the next strike. He could feel the weight of every second, the urgency hanging in the air like a noose around their necks. The Tempest may have been a small fighter, but in the right hands, it was a weapon capable of turning the tide. "Captain?" Reese's voice blared through the comms again. "We're being flanked. There's another fleet coming in from the far side. There's no way we can fight both off at the same time." Jarek's mind raced. This wasn't a simple fight. It was a battle for survival. His decisions would either save humanity or damn it to extinction. "Give me a few seconds," Jarek said, his voice cold. "We're going to break through the enemy lines, right into the heart of the Nemesis." Without waiting for a response, Jarek activated the hyperdrive. The fighter surged forward, darting through the alien forces, weaving between the massive ships with the agility of a hawk. He could hear the pounding of his own heartbeat in his ears as he closed in on the Nemesis. But just as he was about to engage, something unexpected happened. A massive shockwave rocked the Tempest, knocking the fighter off course. For a moment, everything went silent. Jarek fought to regain control, his breath shallow. The comms crackled to life again, but it wasn't Reese. The voice that came through was unmistakable. "Captain Jarek?" "It's over," Zarek said, his voice oozing with satisfaction. "You have no more tricks. You've played your hand, and now you will die." Jarek's mind was racing. He couldn't let Zarek win. Not like this. A message from Reese snapped him out of his thoughts. "Captain? We've just uncovered something. The aliens, they've been hiding something. There's a weapon, hidden on Earth's surface. If we can find it, we might be able to turn the tide." Jarek's eyes widened. "What kind of weapon?" "It's hard to explain, but it's humanity's last chance. We've been digging into old archives. I don't care about the details, Reese. Just find it. We've got one shot at this," Jarek ordered, his voice sharp with resolve. "And we need to take it now." He pivoted the Tempest, charging once more into the heart of the alien fleet, his resolve unshaken. This wasn't just a fight for Earth anymore. This was a fight for humanity's legacy. And Jarek would die before he let it end here. "Time to make them remember who we are," Jarek muttered to himself, as the Tempest roared toward the Nemesis, his last hope hanging in the balance. The Tempest tore through the battlefield like a comet, racing toward the towering silhouette of the Nemesis. Jarek's pulse pounded in his ears, but his mind was clear. This was the final gamble, the last move in a game where failure meant humanity's extinction. The alien ships loomed around him, their weapons primed and deadly, but he wasn't stopping. Not now. Not ever. "Captain, incoming!" Reese's voice came through his headset, shaking with urgency. "The enemy is closing in fast. We've got no more fighters left. It's just you and the Nemesis." Jarek's grip tightened on the controls, his knuckles white. He had no choice. He had to breach the Nemesis' defenses and buy his team time. Reese had uncovered a weapon on Earth's surface, an ancient artifact from humanity's past, hidden away in the ruins. If they could reach it, it could turn the tide of the war. But time was running out, and Earth's fate was hanging by a thread. "Keep me updated, Reese," Jarek said, his voice low but steady. "I'm going in." He angled the Tempest toward the Nemesis' vulnerable weak spot, the rear engine chamber, the one area the alien fleet hadn't fully shielded. The rest of the fleet seemed to fall away as Jarek's ship locked onto its target. The enemy vessels were closing in, but none dared intercept him. Zarek knew what Jarek was planning, but the Overlord hadn't counted on the one thing humanity always had, their ability to adapt. "Prepare to fire," Jarek muttered, his gaze unwavering. The Tempest shuddered as its cannons hummed, charging the deadly blast that would pierce through the alien ship's outer shell. He pushed the throttle, sending his ship into a heart-stopping dive. As the distance between him and the Nemesis shrank, Zarek's voice rang through the comms again, dark and menacing. "You will not succeed, Jarek. You are nothing but a fleeting spark in the vastness of the galaxy. You cannot stop me." Jarek's lips curled into a grim smile. "I'm not here to stop you, Zarek. I'm here to make you regret ever thinking you could crush us." The comms crackled, and for a moment, the chaos of the battle around him seemed to fade. His focus narrowed to the Nemesis. The weapon was charged, ready to fire. But then, just as Jarek was about to pull the trigger, the Tempest jolted violently, spinning out of control. He fought to steady the ship, heart racing. His fingers danced across the controls, but it was too late. A massive alien dreadnought had entered the fray. "Reese! What the hell just happened?" Jarek barked as he fought to regain control of the ship. "It's an ambush!" Reese shouted, his voice laced with panic. "We didn't see them coming. Another fleet just arrived, this one's even bigger. They've got us surrounded." Jarek's eyes darted across the scanners. He was trapped. The Tempest was a small ship, but with the odds stacked against him, there was no way he could escape. Zarek's forces had anticipated this move. The trap had already been set. "Abort mission! All ships fall back!" Jarek ordered, but deep down, he knew it was too late for that. The fleet had been decimated. The last of humanity's resistance was at its breaking point. As the dreadnoughts closed in, a cold, calculating voice echoed across the comms once again. "You think you're the first to defy me? How amusing! You're nothing, Jarek. A blip. A momentary nuisance." Zarek's voice oozed with superiority. Jarek's teeth clenched. He wasn't backing down. Not now. Not ever. "Then I'll make you remember us, Zarek," Jarek muttered under his breath. He wasn't just fighting for Earth anymore. He wasn't even fighting for survival. He was fighting for revenge, for every soul the aliens had taken. The Tempest was shaking violently now, its shields flickering. His remaining fuel was nearly depleted, and the last missiles had been spent on a failed attempt to disable the Nemesis. His options were running out. But one thing remained, the weapon. "Reese," Jarek said, his voice cold and determined. "Where is it? Where's the weapon?" "Earth's surface," Reese replied urgently. "It's buried deep beneath the old city ruins, just outside what remains of New York. You need to." But Jarek had already made up his mind. He punched the throttle, sending the Tempest into a sharp dive toward the distant remains of Earth's shattered surface. He didn't have time to wait for the rest of the fleet. He couldn't. The comms cut off, and the world outside the tempest turned into a blur of fiery trails and crashing debris. He raced toward Earth, dodging fire from the enemy's ships as they pursued him. His mind, sharp and calculating, worked through the plan as he calculated every move. Through the raging battle, Jarek's eyes never left his target. The city ruins stretched beneath him, a testament to humanity's former glory. They had built this world from nothing, only to watch it burn. But now, in these last moments, Jarek had to believe there was something left worth fighting for. Humanity wasn't finished yet. The weapon, humanity's last hope, had to be real. And he had to find it. Before it was too late. The tempest descended into the ruins, its thrusters firing in short bursts to slow its descent. The ground was a wasteland of scorched earth and twisted metal, the remnants of an ancient city now reduced to dust. Jarek's heart raced as he activated the scanners, searching for the weapon. "Rhys, where is it?" Jarek demanded, sweat dripping down his brow. "Underground, beneath the city's central archives," Rhys replied. "I'm locking onto the coordinates now." The ship landed with a violent thud, its hull groaning under the stress. Jarek didn't hesitate. He leapt out of the cockpit, sprinting toward the hatch that led to the depths of the ship. His mission was clear. The weapon could save humanity, but only if he reached it in time. The underground facility was buried beneath layers of rubble, a cryptic testament to humanity's lost history. The air was thick with dust, and the silence was suffocating. As Jarek pushed forward, the ground beneath him trembled. The alien fleet was still above, relentless in its pursuit. But Jarek's resolve remained unbroken. He was the last hope. He reached the core of the archives, a massive vault, ancient and untouched by time. With a final effort, Jarek activated the mechanism, and the vault slowly creaked open. Inside, he found the weapon, an orb of shimmering energy, pulsing with raw power. "This is it," he whispered, his hand trembling as he reached out to touch the orb. The world above him roared, but Jarek knew this was their last chance. The final play. The last stand of humanity. And it was all up to him now. The orb pulsed softly in Jarek's hand, its surface alive with shimmering energy, casting an eerie glow across the ruins. The ground trembled beneath him, and above, the alien fleet loomed like a gathering storm. The hum of distant battle fires crackled in his ears, but in this moment, all was still. All the destruction, the loss, the fighting, it all led to this. Humanity's final chance, sealed in this small, glowing artifact. Jarek's fingers tightened around the orb, his pulse quickening. This was what he had fought for. This was the key to turning the tide. "Rhys, I have it," Jarek said, his voice a steady whisper. "Where's the extraction point?" "2 clicks to the north, near the old military bunkers," Rhys replied urgently. "But Jarek, there's something you need to know, there's a catch. We don't have enough time to get the orb into position before the Nemesis launches its final assault. If you don't deploy it now, the power will drain and—" "I know the stakes." Jarek cut him off, the weight of his words hanging in the air like a leaden burden. His breath was steady, but his mind was racing. The orb could change everything, but only if used in time. Humanity's future rested on his shoulders. "I'm not letting them win, Rhys. We're going to make them regret underestimating us." But as he turned to head toward the surface, a sudden roar split the air, deafening in its intensity. The ground beneath Jarek's feet buckled. He stumbled, barely catching himself on the crumbling wall of the underground facility. The Nemesis had unleashed its final barrage. The sky above exploded with energy, and Jarek felt the heat of it through the layers of rock and debris. The shockwave from the blast rocked the facility, knocking loose chunks of the ceiling. Dust billowed up around him, blinding him momentarily. His ears rang with the deafening sound, the hum of the orb in his hand growing louder, almost as if it too were alive. Jarek's heart raced as he regained his balance. He had to move, now. The longer he stayed here, the more chance Jarek had to finish the job. There was no second chance. No retreat. "Jarek, are you all right?" Rhys's voice crackled through the comms, sounding distant but filled with concern. "I'm fine," Jarek replied, ignoring the pain that shot through his side as he staggered toward the exit. His mind remained focused. Just keep the extraction ready. We don't have much time. The surface was in chaos. Alien ships hovered above, their blasters firing down in relentless barrages. The air was thick with smoke, the once proud skyline of Earth now reduced to jagged remnants. The Fury, Jarek's flagship, was still on the ground, crippled but holding. Its crew fought desperately to fend off the final alien push, but it wouldn't last much longer. Jarek sprinted through the war-torn streets, the orb clutched tightly in his hands. He was close now. So close. The old military bunkers loomed ahead, half buried under rubble. The final stand of humanity was here. If he could just get the orb into position, he could deploy it, end the alien threat, and save what little was left of Earth. But as he approached the bunker, something inside him shifted. A gut-wrenching feeling clawed at his insides. A realization, too late to avoid. There were no soldiers waiting for him at the extraction point. "Reese?" Jarek called out sharply into the comms. "Where's the team?" "Jarek, listen to me," Reese said, his voice suddenly cold. "I've already extracted what I needed. The weapon you're holding. It's not just a weapon. It's a trap." Jarek's stomach dropped. His breath caught in his throat. "What the hell are you talking about?" The truth hit him like a freight train. "The orb," Reese continued, his voice now distant and emotionless. "It wasn't created by humanity. It's an ancient artifact, one the aliens have been searching for. And they've been tracking it all along. I didn't know it would work this way." "Reese," Jarek's voice broke, a rawness slipping in as the full weight of the betrayal settled in. "You lied to me." "No, Jarek. I did what I had to. The artifact was never ours to control. But the aliens thought we didn't know about it, and they were wrong. The weapon is connected to their system. The moment you activate it, it will trigger their entire fleet to collapse, destroying everything. Including us." Jarek's legs almost gave way beneath him. He wanted to scream. To rage. But there was no time. His fingers trembled as they hovered above the orb's activation mechanism. "You've been working with them, all along?" Jarek's voice was barely a whisper. "I never intended for this to happen, Jarek. But the truth is, humanity was always doomed. We can't win this fight. Not by force. This is the only way I can make sure the galaxy gets a reset, a chance to rebuild. You don't have to activate it. You can walk away. You can survive." Jarek felt the air tighten around him. His hands trembled as he held the orb up, the pulse of its energy matching his heartbeats. "I didn't come this far to just walk away, Reese," Jarek muttered, his resolve hardening. "I'm not running from this." "You're not thinking clearly," Reese pleaded. "You're letting the aliens win if you use it. They'll collapse everything, the whole galaxy. There'll be no survivors." Jarek closed his eyes, feeling the weight of the orb. He thought of his team, of Earth, of the families they had all lost. Could he live with the knowledge that humanity, even in its final moments, had been manipulated? Could he betray his own people, knowing it would leave only destruction in its wake? But as the sounds of alien forces closing in reached his ears, Jarek knew what he had to do. This wasn't just about Earth. This was about humanity's legacy. The galaxy had been broken long before this war started. The Tempest-S engines flared behind him as it took off, cutting through the sky as Jarek headed for the heart of the alien fleet. He was not going to be part of their reset. He was going to end this war on his terms. He would let the enemy destroy themselves, not him. Not humanity. With one last look at Earth, the remnants of what it had been, Jarek pressed the activation button on the orb. A blinding light consumed him. And as the energy surged, the Nemesis and its fleet, Zarek's empire, collapsed into nothingness. Humanity had lost everything. But in that final, blazing moment, they had won.